That was weird, huh? Listening, just watching it count down and no music, nothing. It gives me time to be able to set up. So, hi everybody, welcome. When you're here, make sure you pop into the chat and say hi so that I know that you're here. And also, I'm monitoring the chat. So if there's any questions, then what I want you to do is put a Q, in your question, and I'll answer it. That way we can have a working session here. And I can directly address any of the comments, questions, and so on. Or if you have suggestions, hey, Tonya, try this, try that, blah, blah, blah. Right? So this is going to be a working session. We'll give it a try and see if this is going to work for everybody. Okay. What are we doing today? Well, I've been having a lot of folks ask me, Tonya, can you start streaming your testing sessions? What you do so we can kind of see how you're doing it. And I think that's a good idea. Why? Because I can share my process to teach others, but also we can start to collaborate to develop a process for the test team. So I think that's good. This is a good starting point. And then we can have more working sessions. Maybe we want to do Zoom calls or whatever. Okay. What we're going to do today is after our morning session that we had, well, my morning, might have been your afternoon or evening, depending upon where you're at in the world. What we did earlier today in the test team channel is we did some triage to look at could we reproduce problems that are being reported. So I want to focus there because I think testing starts right there. I think a ticket should start right there, right? You've got a report of some problem. First thing you need to do is, can we reproduce that problem? Do we understand that problem in its context before we start, right, interacting with the person that's reported it? And even more importantly, before we start actually building a fix. How can you build a fix if you don't know everything that's surrounding what the particular problem is? Okay, so let's start there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over and show you my screen. And I'll show you my setup and what I do, and then I'm just going to live walk through everything. Okay, so I'm going to look over here. My camera is here, but the screen I'm working on is over here. So let's take a look at this. Whenever I'm doing this type of triage for testing, and I'm trying to reproduce problems, I do it using the local app. I just find that easier for myself, for my workflow. You can use whatever you want, but I just find this to be something that works for me. It allows me to quickly be able to switch between different PHP versions. I can switch over to use the multi-site. I have a multi-site subdomain set up. I can switch to that if I need to. And then using some of the different plugins that our friend Andy has developed, like Core Rollback right here, and of course then the beta tester as well, using those, I'm able to change the WordPress environment. That's pretty handy too. Okay. One of the other reasons that I like this is, one, it's very simple to spin up a site, break it down, restart it up again. It just makes it super duper easy for me. Okay. Now I want to show you how I have things set up. Notice I have the classic editor plugin. I have the classic widgets plugin. I have Core Rollback. Here's Gutenberg. Here's Jetpack if I need that. And here's the beta tester. The only thing I have active right now is just Core Rollback. And you can see I'm actually running on 5.8. That's kind of small, isn't it? Here, let's go up here and we'll look at the About page. I'm running 5.8 right now. When we're doing a major release and people are reporting problems, we have to understand that they have either done a fresh install, right, which would be 5.8, but a lot of the reports are coming from folks who have done an upgrade. Okay. Let's see. Hold on just one sec. Okay. So what we want to do with some of these tickets is to change and go backwards to, say, like 5.7 or some older version of WordPress and see how it behaves before in the environment that they've told us about. and then do an upgrade and confirm what they're seeing. Or maybe we're not able to reproduce it, but then we can develop a test report that shares what we did, our environment, and what we found. Okay? I'm going to show you that test report in just 1 second. But what I want to do here is let's first roll this back to 5.7. And the way that you do that is come down here to Tools and then Core Rollback. And by the way, I've got some other code up here that I've got running. Let me get rid of that real quick because it's just going to confuse you. And we're going to cover that later, what I've got here. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and return here. And we'll come back to this in a little bit. And we're going to talk about my setup here and so on. All right, let me minimize that. All right, back to this. Roll it back, 5.7.2. Then click the rollback button. Now it's going to take you to the updates page. See that? And right here, reinstall 5.7.2. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then we're going to wait while it's doing that. How are you? Okay, now we're on 5.7.2. Make sure you validate that we really did get that about page. Okay, we want to make sure that that's what we have. All right, now I need to see, do I have the right thing open? Hold on 1 sec. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this down for a second and save. Go back to here. And I want to go backwards. Okay, now I'm in where I have, just ignore my pathing. Okay, I have a different drive set up and so on. But here in local, I have this particular project, and then I have some aliases set up that I can just go code, and then it just pops this open for me. Okay, I wanted to make sure that what I have loaded up in the editor is the right project, because I switch back and forth a lot. Alrighty, let's see. Let me show you now how I have this set up, and then this will help you a bit. Use the must use for testing. So if you need to put in like a quick filter, or you want to set up some sort of scenario, maybe they shared some code with you, using the must use allows you to do that. And I do this all the time. So what I do is I have just this test.php where I load in the files that I need. Everything in the WP content mu-plugins folder, if it's in the root, WordPress is going to automatically load it. I don't always want it to load everything because I'm switching between different tickets and different things that I'm testing, right? So will you. Okay. So notice that what I'm doing here then is I put the code that I need inside of a folder, and I'm calling it, if there's a track ticket, if I'm working with Gutenberg, I'll do something else. But if it's a track ticket, I'll put that as the name so I can keep it encapsulated. And then I just load that file. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, okay. All right, so in here what I'm doing is there's a report in a ticket that said the value of the customized logo theme mod is different. So I set up a little scenario here for this. And what I'm going to do instead right now is just return from that so it stops dumping this information into the browser. We'll come back. We're going to do that as part of our testing today. Okay. But I did want to show you how I do some different tests. All right. Okay, now let's go look at a ticket. And then we can set up our environment. All right, so we have this ticket in track. This is 53770. Okay, you can open this up in yours and just take a look. What they're reporting is the site logo that they're loading through the customizer worked before 5.8 and now it doesn't. Okay, that's what they're telling you here. And they give you some information about the logo is found at Appearance Customize, right? They told us that they retried uploading the logo and it didn't make a difference. They told us the theme that they're using, which is a free theme, so we can use that theme, okay? And they said other themes, including the default, may be impacted, but they didn't test that. Okay, so we can test that too. Right? Okay. So let's take a look here. Somebody else came in and reported that the value of this theme mod changed from 7.2 to 5.8. I'm not dealing with that yet. These are two separate things going on. So we're just going to first do what? We're going to try to reproduce the problem that's there. Hold on one sec. I've got somebody asking a question in Slack, so I'm going to go ahead and answer them, and then I'll pull that down here. Let's see. I got to get the copy for them. Okay. You can watch me as I do this. Oh, boy. Typing is going to be an issue today, I can see. I just want to make sure I got the right person. Yes. Here on YouTube. And then ask questions in the live chat or here. Okay. There, I shared that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and move that out of the way. Hey, Piotr, if you can kind of keep an eye on that, if somebody's asking a question too, can you help me out there in the Slack chat? I'd really appreciate it. Okay. All right, let's get back to this now. All righty, so I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to show you what I did. Whenever I try to reproduce, I like to capture that. And what I use is ScreenFlow. You can use anything else. So it makes it records my screen, okay, and captures it in a video. And then I just export that out as a GIF. And then that way I can share that and put it right here into the ticket. So then anybody watching can see the steps that I did. Right? So if you're a tester and you want to reproduce, you want to give this a whirl and see, hey, can I reproduce this problem? You can follow the steps that I laid out here and see what you get, because guess what? You might get something different, and that happens a lot. You have a different machine. You might be on a Windows machine. Your setup might be different. The browser you use might be different. The way you test might be different. And that can be good, because then all of us, if we get all these different reports, what happens? Right? We might be able to do these things. Listen to me. We might be able to, here, I'm going to switch back to me now so you can I want to make this point. Listen up. Multiple testers testing and reporting what they find is good, because we can validate, are we able to reproduce it? Does it work as expected, or does the error pop up? Okay. Number two, it can find out what's unknown. There might be something else going on that isn't being reported, that we can go, wait a minute, I'm getting this as a side effect, or that, or maybe some errors in the browser that one of the other folks didn't see. So all these different testing reports can help to surface other things that might be going on. So from testing, we are trying to reproduce. If we can't, then we ask more questions. If it's clear that this isn't a problem in core, then we can tell the user or the reporter and tell them, hey, go over to the support forum or talk to the plugin person or the theme author, whatever, and give them advice, right? Or we can also collaborate together. I could put up a report, Piotr could put up a report, Justin could put up one, right? All the different testers could test, add a report, and then collectively we can take a look to see if there's patterns to figure out, wait a minute, is this a problem? If yes, what should we do about it? If no, how do we advise the reporter? Okay, make sense? All right. Let's switch back. All right. And then this is a test report. This is the thing that I wanted to share with you. This test report's really, really, really important. When you test something, tell us what you did, under what conditions, and what environment, and what your observations were. Capture all that. If we get into a habit as a team, right, we can come up with this process, then it can be much more predictable for us to be able to look at these reports, as well as the core team or the Gutenberg team can look at these reports and figure out what's going on. Anybody can start to figure out how to test, right? Okay. All right, so with this template that I'm using, okay, let me show you. Piotr just asked me a question here. Let me load this up for y'all. All right. So that's a very good question. How did I do this? And you're right. We probably should start to create some sort of template for this. But here's what I did. I'm going to do an edit on it. Okay. All right. So here you can see it. Now this is just Markdown, right? Track has a few other little oddball things with it than Markdown does. Okay. So I just kind of want to let you know that. But notice this will give me like an H2 heading, if you will. This is an H3 heading. Okay. And what I'm doing is I'm saying this is a test report, so that we clearly know this is a test report. This is my testing environment. WordPress. What version of WordPress am I using? What plugins are activated? What theme am I using? What local host, or if you're using a live website for testing, what are you using? Tell us that environment. Okay. For mine, I'm using local. It's running Nginx. This is the PHP version. This is the MySQL version. And guess what? My OS. Okay. What am I using? Because how do you know if someone says I'm working locally on Mac and it's some version and that version is causing a problem? That might be nice to know that. Or you're running Windows. It might be nice to know that too. And then what browser or browsers did you test it on, and what versions? In my case, I tend to like to test in 3 different ones: Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. Sometimes I'll go more than that depending, but I like to put them here to let everybody, and myself included, know I tested it on these 3 things. Okay. What are my testing steps? How did I test this? Step by step by step by step. Okay, so that's what I do here. Notice I just have a dash. You can do a dash. You can do an asterisk, right? But this will give us an unordered list. All right. And then at various points, I give you some results or observations. Like right here, I click the publish button. This is what I saw. The logo appears, and I'll show you that. And then what were the testing results? I wasn't able to reproduce the problem. The logo appeared in both 5.7.2 and in 5.8 for me. Okay. All right. So that kind of report, and I bet you our QA folks probably even have a better report that they can put together that we as a team can collaborate on and come up with something that we like that we can all start to use. That would be awesome. All right. Okay. After I do that, so notice what I did. I tested it. I'm going to scroll back up. Watch your eyes. Sorry if that scrolls a little fast. I tested it. I did a screen capture. I exported it out to a GIF. And then I'm going to scroll back up to here. I added a file, which is my screen capture. Okay. And then that gets reported here. All right. So now anybody can watch this video and see, ooh, okay, I see the steps. Then I created the test report and put that right in here. And now it's time to talk to the reporter. Okay. So now I start and I say, welcome. Okay. And we want to have empathy for people. So I say, I'm sorry. It is nice to have empathy. They're having a problem. Whether you can reproduce it or not doesn't matter for them. What matters for them is their site is broken or they're having a pain point. Let's have empathy for them. Okay. Then I let them know that I wasn't able to reproduce this. And I let them know that I used what they told me they're using. Okay. And I reference them back to my testing report and the GIF. And then I let them know my suspicions. I suspect this is going to be a theme or I'm sorry, a plugin conflict. There's some plugin in their system that is causing this problem. And then I say, let's verify this. Okay, so now I'm going to walk them through how do you verify it. Right, so here I let them know and take them right through all the different steps. And I also give them a link to the support article that gives them some 5.8 specific troubleshooting. So if they're so inclined, they can go read that. Okay, and then notice I mark the ticket as we need feedback to be able to move forward. Need them to go do these things and then report back so that we can move forward here. In this case, the reporter did reply back to me, but yes, they did clear all the caches and retest, and the problem still remains. But they did not disable any of their plugins. They just made an assumption that because they didn't change any of their plugins, that those plugins are not causing the problem. In a user's mind, I can see why they would think that. Don't you? The only thing that changed was WordPress. Why are my plugins potentially the problem? Okay, have empathy here. It's possible that those plugins are conflicting with some sort of change. It might also be that core has a problem itself. So don't assume that it's not a core problem just because you couldn't reproduce it. All right. Okay, so, and then they're pointing us back to what that other person, that other reporter said, and that it changed from string to int. And I'm going to deal with that separately. Just ignore that for right now. All right, you're probably going to go, wait, you just brought it up. I need to know. Well, the database stores it as string, right? When it gets pulled out of the database, it still is a string unless something in the code changes it to int. And Jetpack is doing something a little bit different. And this person's site might actually be doing something different altogether because they may not be using the same stack. They may not be using Jetpack with this Gorian theme. So it becomes more difficult then to have two conversations going on with potentially two separate problems in the same ticket. So I'm probably going to advise that person to open a new ticket. But let's get that one separately. Okay. During today's testing, here's what I did. Because my report had this inside of it, I went ahead and created a comment here so any tester could know here's the info to reproduce this problem. Here's the environment. These are the things that you need, right? You need to what? You have to have the core rollback plugin. You need the Gorian theme. And you need Jetpack, okay? And then here's the steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, all the way down for the steps. And then I marked it as has testing info. Okay, that's a manual keyword. You have to type that in. Excuse me. We have a meta ticket open to add that in, but it hasn't been processed yet. So just manually type that in. And that lets all of us know, okay, it's got as information that we need as testers to do our work. Okay. And then there's more conversations going on here, and we'll deal with that separately. All right. So I tell you what, since we're all looking at this one, why don't we try to run through the steps, and then there's other tickets that we can be testing, but I bet you that's going to be too long for today. So maybe what I'm going to do is each day this week, I'll do the same thing. I'll open up one ticket, walk through the process. We can test it together in a live situation, and then do another day and so on and so forth. And then through this collaborative process, we can, one, be teaching other testers how to do this, and two, we can be working on our process together and at the same time triaging 5.8 and helping out users. That's good too. All right. Let's get down to this. Now, step 1, rollback plugin. Let's go check that. Where is that at? Okay. We have to come down to here. Rollback plugin is there, right? Yep. Okay, I'm going to move this particular ticket close to where my browser tab's at for my test site, just because it just makes it easier. All right, so step 2, we need to, well, I'm going to jump down here to 3. I got these out of order. Let's do Jetpack next since we're on the same screen. Activate Jetpack. Okay. You might be wondering why Jetpack. Jetpack has the field that the Gorian theme uses for adding a custom site logo. I'll show you that, but I had to discover that myself. Okay. And then we're going to go to Appearance Themes. Here's the Gorian theme, activate. Okay, so now we have the Gorian theme, the rollback, and Jetpack. Do I have enough fingers? Yeah, okay. All right, what's next? Start with WordPress 5.7.2. We did that before we started this. So we are on 5.7.2. Then we need to install and activate the Gorian theme. We did that. Install and activate Jetpack. We did that. Okay. Now, oh, sorry about that. I jumped. Now we need to add a logo. So we go to Appearance, Customize, Site Identity, Logo. Can you remember it? Customize, Site Identity, and here's the logo. That's this right here. Right? So if I remove that logo, notice it's gone. Now I'm going to go ahead and add that back in again. I'm just going to select that one. Select. Yes, I want that one. Boom, here it is. It's kind of ugly, but we have a logo. All right. Publish. Next, what's the next step? Okay, click Publish. We did that. Now, check if the logo appears in the field. Check. Appears in the field. Appears in the Customizer Previewer. Check. Yep, we got that one, right? And renders on the front end. Did it render on the front end? Well, check. There it is on the front end. All right. And the reporter told us this works before 5.8. All right. So we just confirmed that, yes, it works before 5.8. Yeah. All right. Let's go back. Now, we need to get out of this. Next, upgrade to WordPress 5.8.0 by going to the dashboard, updates, right? And then I just walk through it for folks who may or may not know all the individual steps. So we're going to go to Updates, Update Now, wait, 30 seconds, 40 seconds here? I'll take a drink of water. Okay, so now we've confirmed we are on 5.8. We see it here in the About page. And if we scroll all the way down, we can see at the very, very, very bottom, down here below me, it says 5.8. Okay, so we are on 5.8 now. What's the next step? Well, you can probably assume we're going to go back and take a look to see, is it rendering in the 3 spots again? Yep, go to Appearance, Customize, Site Identity, Logo, and then we're just going to recheck. Okay, Appearance, Customize, Site Identity. It's here in Customizer as a field. Didn't lose that. It's here in the theme, or sorry, in the Customizer preview. That works. Okay, so we got 2 of them that works. How about the third? Let's go see. We need to refresh, and boom, it's there also. All 3. Boom. Can't reproduce the problem. I can't reproduce it. Now I want you all to try it. Can you reproduce the problem? Yes or no? Then add your testing report onto the ticket. We could have 50 people do this and add a testing report. I think that's great to have as many as we can do this. All right, because I guarantee you at some point there's going to be something that one in, say, 10, 15, 20, 30 different testers, one person will find something that the others didn't think of, and you go, oh, there's a weird thing going on, whether it's this problem that's reported or something else that may or may not be contributing to it. So testing is cool. All right. Okay, so what would we do now? So in this case, here, let me put this up. So in this case, can you delete the logo and add it again? Sure, let's try that. That's a very good point. Let's go a little bit further. Okay, I'm going to remove it. There we go. Now it's gone, right? And if I publish, let's try that. and I refresh, the logo's gone. Let's add another one. Okay, so now I'm going to come back to here and maybe I'll put a different logo in just to see. Okay, select. There's this one. I'm going to expand this up just because that looks so nasty, didn't it? There we go. We'll say crop. There we go. And publish now. Boom. There it is right there. See? Good job. You did bring that up. And notice it's not there anymore. Let's go and see what we've got. Do we have any errors? No errors. Darn it all. No errors. Okay, so there's no console errors. Let's see if it actually shows on the front. And we're going to do this. Oh, shows in the front. So it is rendering, but for some reason it's not rendering in Customizer. Well, let's refresh. Did it come back? There it is. That right there, great job, by the way. That right there might be something that would definitely, well, not might be, it will confuse users. So we do want to report that, and that's a very good job of doing that. We need to see, is this repeatable? We saw it once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn on my recording. And just hold on one sec so that I can capture this. Yep, that's the right thing. And I'm going to go ahead. What you're seeing now, I'm preparing to record. I want to record these steps because now we can make another testing report, right? That's right. Okay. So I'm going to do, see if we can do this. Remove, publish, and then I'll try it just by removing and adding. Okay. Did it go away? Yes, it went away. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go ahead and add another one. I'm just going to pick something weird. By the way, these right here were pictures I took off my wall behind me. So I know it's kind of a weird logo, right? But hey, ooh, that's kind of small. Let's go back. I'm going to remove that one. Let's do this one. Select. By changing the image, I want to see if it's just that we don't get into a loop of the same image. Okay, so now it did it. We did it there. And notice it's still not here. Now, let's just make sure, open this back up again and make sure that there's nothing here. Okay. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to right click here and I want to see, is the logo there or not? Is it maybe being hidden? Right? So let's see, what do we have here? Here is the site logo right there. So it actually is there. But we've got something in the CSS that must be hiding it. Let's go and see. Oh, right here. Display none. See it? Right here? If I can crank this up. Maybe that'll help you. Maybe this will help you to see it a little bit better. Right here. Style equals display none. So there's something, whether it's in Jetpack or in the theme, that takes this and gets rid of this style display none. Now, if we manually get rid of that, what happens? Well, let's see. It's still not showing it. There must be something else in the styling. Maybe it gets added. That CSS may get added over here or added here into the style that makes it show up in the customizer previewer. The thing I want to tell you about right now as we stop. Some of you are developers. You can start to go down a rabbit hole of moving away from testing to going deep inside of trying to go into the code and find the problem. Stop yourself from doing that because you might lose the opportunity to continue finding all these different edge cases that could be causing this. Stay focused on testing. You see that there's a problem, and we just identified that the style is being set, and there must be something else that comes along and changes that. Where that's being done at can be looked at later. Doesn't need to be part of your testing report. Okay, and if you're a developer and once you do your testing report, you see a use case here, a problem, then you can go and say, let me figure out where this might be. And in this case, I have a hunch it's going to be in the Jetpack itself, though it could be in Gorian, but I'm guessing Jetpack because Jetpack is the thing that adds this in. Okay, this isn't done in core. Now, that doesn't mean something isn't conflicting. So don't get confused, right? And this is why I say you want to stay as objective as you can be, stay focused on your task, which is testing. We have found, well, not we, one of our testers, has found that you delete the plug or delete the logo, remove it, publish, come back. It's there and it renders on the front end, but it does not render in Customizer. Report that. Okay. Let's see if we can find some other things that can do it too. All right. I'm going to go ahead and lower this down now. And then double check. Right here. Notice that there are no console errors. Okay. Let's try something else. Let's remove it. Don't publish yet. And let's add. I'm going to add that one back in. Select. Skip cropping. Oh, that time it appeared. Did you see that? Wow. This thing is kind of a little buggy. Yeah, and you're right. Let's go and try this on 7.2 also, because what if it has nothing to do with 5.8? What if this weird bugginess was there before 5.8? Had nothing to do with it. Let's go find out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and publish this one, and then we're going to refresh. And where did you go? There. Yeah, stop hitting buttons, Tonya. There we go. This is me messing up here, by the way. All right. Isn't on the front end yet. Go away. There we go. Just 1 second here. See what happens when you do things live. And that's YouTube. All right. Hold on 1 sec. I've got something screwy with my keyboard. Happens to me sometimes. I'm always swapping things in and out. There we go. Okay. So, yes. It showed in the field. It showed on the front end. It showed in the customizer. All right. Now let's go back and switch back to 7.2. Or, I'm sorry, 5.7.2 here. Rollback. Remember how we did that? Now we're going to reinstall. By the way, my screen recorder is still recording, and what I can do is edit that. Once we get done, I can chop it up into different reports if I need to. Okay, so now we're running on 7.2. Let's go back and repeat. Site identity. Okay, what did we do? Remove. Okay, it removed here. Publish. Check. Gone. Okay, let's do it again. Add. Let's switch. Select. Skip cropping. Not here. Oh, bummer. Okay, so yes, it's in the settings. No, it's not rendering in Customizer. Same problem. And let's go to the front end. Refresh, and it renders in the front. All right, so by doing these different types of iterations, we were able to produce what the person was reporting in 5.7 and 5.8. Okay, so what would we do next? Think about it. What would we do next? Well, first of all, I'd advise writing up your report, sharing the screen of how you've captured the test, write up the report. That way everybody can go back and see it again, and then talk to the reporter and explain what you did. This is what I tested. I was able to reproduce the same problem on 5.7.2, and here's how I reproduced it. Okay, and at this point, that's right, write the report. At this point, I would say that this particular problem is not due to core potentially, but due to probably either Jetpack or the theme. So you can say that. I suspect this is due to blah, 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 blah. Right? Share your observations. Then another contributor can take a look to see, is it truly somewhere else? Because if it's not in core, then we can close it out and we can share a support link where they can go and get help. Okay? Yeah, so we're getting another report here too. I'm just going to go ahead and pull this onto the screen. I hope that you don't mind. I'm sharing you. The beauty of live. So here, the theme is also acting buggy here, right? So it could be something in the theme as well. Understanding that might be something we can take a look at. Oh, Justin, that's a very good point. Let's test it with the default theme. We can then start to see, is this a Jetpack problem? Is it the theme problem? That's a very good observation. Good job. Boy, I'm really appreciating all of you. All right, so we're still in 572. Yep. Let's switch the theme. %. You are absolutely right. That is a good logical step to isolate, right? Switch to the default theme now. With Jetpack still on and Gorian is gone, does the problem reproduce itself? Well, let's go find out. Okay, we're going to go to themes. And let's see. I don't think 2021 is going to, well, let's just try it. If not, I was thinking that maybe 2020, because I think that one also has a logo, but let's just try this and see. Okay, I'm going to go back to customize, site identity. And here's the logo. Oh, it did come up here. Okay, so here's the logo. Now let's go ahead and remove. And select that one. Select. Skip the cropping. And it's there. Uh-oh. Okay, let's publish. We're going to do this a couple of times. Just because one time it worked for you doesn't mean it will again. Okay, so that time it worked. Let's try it again. Remove. It does remove. Let's put it back in. I'm going to switch to a different one. Skip the cropping. And it appeared again. Okay, if I publish, what happens? Refresh. Boom. There it is again. Publish after removing. Okay, will do. Remove, publish. Refresh. There it is. Let's try it again. We want to pick a different one this time. Maybe this one. Skip cropping. There we go. Publish. It's still there. Refresh. There it is. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. That's, yeah. So what's that tell us? Is it Jetpack? Is it Core? Or I need another thumb. Or is it the theme? What's that tell us? Well, let's take a look. We tested this with Gorian, Jetpack, and Core. It worked. We switched Core to a different version, right? Or I'm sorry. Gorian, Jetpack, 572, reproduce the problem. Switch to WordPress 5.8, reproduce the problem. Remove Gorian, put in a different theme, can't reproduce the problem. It's the theme. Right? That's the most likely scenario, is it's in the theme. And let's report that and also look up where they can go and get some support. Everyone agree? Yeah. Yep, I agree. So, yep. Give me a thumbs up if you agree. Yep. Okay. So that's what we would put into the ticket as a report. Now, Norm, let's go back to that ticket. Please, everybody, you can get some practice here. If you want to go ahead and put this report out there too, since we're doing this live together, go ahead and generate your report too. This poor person's going to feel like, oh my gosh, the whole community came and tested. That's good. Can I deactivate? Yeah, let's try that too. Man, you all are on fire today. Good job. All right, I'm going to go backwards now. We have 2021, and which we're on WordPress 5.7.2. Let's go back to the plugins. Deactivate Jetpack. I don't think that's going to work for 2021. Oh, it is. For some reason I was thinking 2021 didn't have this, but let's go ahead. If we remove and publish, it's gone. Yep. Is it gone on the front end? Yep. Okay, let's put it in. We'll do that one. Skip. Okay. Let's remove it. Let's put a different one in. Select. Skip. It's there. Let's remove. Do this one. Select. Skip. Okay. Publish. It's there. Refresh. Boop. Okay. Right. So we've got a lot of talking about now, is it Gorian or is it Jetpack? Okay. The thing that I'm going to the thing that we should be cautious about, and English is my native language. The thing we need to be cautious about here is this. When we had 2021 and the Jetpack, which one was actually loading up the site logo itself in the customizer and the front end, right? Was it the theme or was it Jetpack? It's just something to note. Which one is controlling that settings field and which one is rendering out the logo itself? We don't know because, remember, we're the testers. So it's good for us to just be aware that just because we did this test, by removing Jetpack and now we're just isolating on the theme, doesn't mean that there still isn't some sort of conflict with Jetpack. Because maybe the theme wasn't using Jetpack's site logo. Something to be aware of. We need to validate that. And that's going to be taking a look at the code as well. Okay, so Gorian without Jetpack active won't show. That is correct. So can't test that. That is correct. Right? So that's why with the Gorian, we had to use both. We had to use Jetpack and we had to use Gorian because Gorian doesn't turn on that particular customizer field. Okay. All right. So if somebody wants to take a look in 2021 and take a look to see, is it using something native to the theme? Or is it also calling Jetpack if Jetpack is active? That may be there as well. So that's just something we'll have to verify. Okay. The one thing that we do know is that without Gorian, we can't reproduce the problem. So something is going on with the theme itself, whether it's the theme conflicting with Jetpack or whatever, but there's something going on with the theme that it's not happy. So therefore, I'm thinking that we can advise the reporter to go to Gorian's support and ask for support from the theme author of Gorian. I'm thinking that's what we should start to advise. Would you all agree with that? I think I've asked this before, but we took another step. So I just want to make sure, do we as a team? Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that the default themes have the code specifically for Jetpack. I'm thinking that they natively have it, which means then we've also removed Jetpack from the equation too, if that is true. Okay. And we can validate that, and we probably should. Aha! Justin just confirmed that TT1 does ship with a custom logo feature. There you go. I wonder if a different theme doesn't. One of our defaults. Let's go and find out. about 2019? Try it. We have Jetpack off right now. Nope, that one has a logo too in it. Okay. Darn. All right. Okay, so we can continue testing on this. Everybody write up your reports, put it in there. I'll do the same thing. Ooh, I should stop this video. Hold on one sec. For that. And then I'll edit this later because this was my whole screen capture of what we did, and I'll put that with my report. Let's go back. Oh, it doesn't? Oh, hold on. We've got one here. 2020. Yeah. Doesn't have it. See, I was thinking it was 2021. Okay, so let's try this one. Oh. Yeah, it does. Oh, well. Hey. We're testing together live, so it's okay. Let's just test it while we're here. Publish. Let's put it back in. Boom. Okay. Skip cropping. It shows up. Publish. Boom. Okay. Works in that one too. Okay. Now, we've got one more thing to deal with in here, don't we? Before I let you all go. I know it's almost to an hour now, but I just want to deal with one more thing, and then you'll see my write-up when I write this up in the ticket. There's another person who's chimed in and is reporting something different. They're reporting that, I want to come back to, where did they start that at? Up here. Here. In another project I'm seeing, the aforementioned return value changes from an int 48 to a string 48. Right? Don't know if there's inconsistencies there. This is something, too, that can be tested and then reported back. The question's going to be whether that should be done in this ticket or not. Now, since they're both talking together, and I'm not seeing a separate problem with the data coming back, we could just go ahead and keep it in this particular ticket. And if there starts to be a problem or the thread starts to go and diverge, then we could always say, hey, we need to open up a new ticket. Okay. What am I talking about? Oh, let's see now then. Now, the one thing that is odd is where they're reporting right here. This is something where they're saying, it is, however, odd to me that WP58 returns a different ID. That is a separate issue. That I would tell them to go open up a separate ticket for, and then that can be investigated. I haven't been able to reproduce that, but I think that's something that should be reported separately so that all of us can start to understand that in its context. What theme are you using? What plugins are you using? Do you get that same problem? How did you reproduce it? If you deactivate all your plugins, does that problem go away? Right? There are filters in there that are being used. There may be something that's a custom that's built on top of core that's causing this problem, but we need to know that. That could be something that we want to investigate separately. This idea of int to string for the ID, I just want to show you where you can find some of this information and how you can test that. Okay. If you're using local, you can go right here to the database, and we can open this up in the browser here. And this is going to be in the options, and then you can start to search for it. Where is this located at? Okay. So let's see, we got structures, we got new items, foreign keys. We're going to go over here to the data, and we're going to do a search, and we're going to look in the option name. No, I don't want that. I want option name, and I never remember. Oh yeah, it's theme mods _ and this will be like, and let's go ahead, and we need to go and search for this now. All right, so here, notice that theme mods have the theme name itself. So here's the one for 2021, here's the one for Gorian, here's the one for 2020, here's the one for 2019. Okay. The theme mod, I've got too many things open. I'm going to come back to here. Notice they said that this was from Get Theme Mod, and the name of the mod is Custom Logo. You see that? All right, let's come over here. And if we go back to Gorian, let's see, I want to edit this, and I look for, do you see it somewhere? I gotta look to see. I may have removed it. Inactive, we've got custom CSS, mine, primary, text. This is too small, isn't it? I just realized, sorry about that. Make it bigger so y'all can see it. Custom HTML sidebar. Okay, I had removed that one. Let's go back. I'm going to go ahead and go back. What theme do we have activated? I think it's 20, so we'll go to this one. Here it is. All right, so we've got custom_logo is one of the theme mods. And we can see its value here. Okay. And so now let's go ahead and we can actually test this. I'm going to pull, where is my editor? That's the $1 million question, right? Oops, that one is core. I'm going to get rid of that because I was doing some testing earlier. Here it is. This is what I was setting up. Okay, get theme mod. And here I'm just dumping it out. Well, how about the site logo? Because some themes are actually using a site logo also, which is an option. So I was also dumping that out if it exists, or else just put this out. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say save. And let's see what happens if we go back here. I'm going to get out of this. And here we can start to see two different things. Okay. One is, this one is an int52. Sorry about that, got my dictionary. That's the custom logo. This is the 55 string is the site logo, okay? And what the reporter was saying is this 52 changes to a string when we're on 5.8. Want to try it? Sure, why not? Let's go ahead and do that. Update now. Get another drink of water. And sure enough, didn't it? Changed to a string. It was an int. Now it's a string. The thing with PHP is, though, it will do that type juggle, and it will switch it from string to int. So it's not going to cause a problem if it's a string or an int, unless there's code that's specifically looking for the data type. And then it could be a problem. Okay. So this would just need some investigation to understand why did it change from string or from int to string, but I'm not seeing a problem with it, but it should be investigated just to double check. Okay. And it likely had a reason, and you can go back in, if you find it in the code, you can go back and even take a look to see if that's something. It could have been just a boo-boo that was done, or it could have been intentional, but it's kind of good to go and take a look. Now, as a tester, you don't have to go that deep. You don't have to go into the code and go that deep into looking, but you are confirming, yes, 7.2, it was an int, now it's a string. And you can put that in. I would say test that with different scenarios. Test it with all the ways that we did to see, does that hold true for every single one of these themes that we've been doing? Okay, and then put that in your report. All right. What happens if that report creates another ticket? Right? The reporter was saying it used to be an array, now it's this. If that's the case and it opens another ticket, then we can just reference. We can copy the information over from one ticket to another. We can put links to it just so that that context stays packaged up with the ticket. So just so that you all know. All right. I think that's probably a really good stopping place because I've consumed you all for about an hour. But I wanted to walk you through this process. Now, like I said, there are plenty of other tickets here that we need to go through and do this type of testing. You can try them on your own. Tomorrow, I'll do another live stream and I'll put it into the channel and we could have another working session together. Probably do that one early my morning, maybe like around 13, 14 UTC, if we all agree. I could even do one later in the afternoon, do one early my day, late my day. And then that way we make sure we get good coverage for folks. You all let me know what you'd like to do. If you have questions, I'm going to switch out of this. Come back to me. If you have questions during any of these live sessions or after, you can ask in the chat here in YouTube or just go into our core test chat. Right there in Slack. Just ask. I'll come and I'll answer you async. And on that way we can all get onto the same page and make sure that we're helping one another and working as a team. Alrighty. I assume y'all don't have any other questions because I'm not seeing any other pop. But if you do, ask them there and we can continue our triaging, testing together. And thanks for joining me today. I hope to see you tomorrow.